All right, family, and we are now live. We are now live. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for your patience. We are going to have a good Friday night. We had a great week this weekend. We're going to end it with the divine feminine in the building. I
Yeah.
want to welcome back to the platform. She hasn't been here in a little while. None other than Erin Lyons. Erin, welcome back to the platform.
Thank you for having me back again.
Indeed, indeed. What's been going on with you? How's everything been?
Good. I mean, motherhood, which is insane. So my son is 1 years old now. So as you know, every other sentence is put that down,
Whoa,
don't do that,
whoa,
stop, So
whoa.
that, but also just always a ton of grid work, a ton of grid work. So I went to Mount Shasta with a big group. Then I went to France, and then recently I just got back from Salem, Massachusetts, which was like a really big grid work trip too. So a lot of grid work.
Yeah, right before the show, I went on your Instagram and I seen that, and I was like, "Wow, I gotta ask her about that." But I want to ask you first. We're gonna have a great conversation tonight. Halloween is approaching,
Hmm.
and they always say the veil is thinnest around Halloween, and I guess communication is easier with this realm and another realm at this time. But I want to ask you to start out with, since you brought up motherhood. Um, they always talk about the womb being the
Hmm.
most important portal that we have in this realm. The womb is like, you know, men and women haven't been taught the power of the womb. I want
Hmm.
to ask you, since being a mother, having a child, a person who has psychic abilities and you really tapped in, has that increased it, decreased it? Like,
Mm.
how has that affected your abilities, bringing life into this realm?
There's definitely a different layer of sensitivity that is opened up because before you have a child, everything is about you. It's about what I want to do, where I'm going to go. So you're a little bit more, you don't have to have as much psychic defense or protection. So
Right.
what I've noticed is, being responsible for another being, another life, I have to be so attuned and so psychically sensitive to read the energy of a room, of a situation, or even be able to communicate with my child to understand what he might need in the moment. So everything is heightened. And
Mm.
what the difference is it never turns off now. Like I was
Oh.
always on, but now I'm like super on.
Wow. Wow, that's
Yeah.
deep. That's deep. Also with everything going on right now, and oh man, we live in incredible times. I mean, the whole world is changing. Have you noticed, I'm just curious, have you noticed any spiritual abilities like turning on even more than what it
Mm.
was on before? Like anything in particular you want to share with us? Like you'd be like, yo, I noticed this or I noticed that.
I think it's the same abilities, but just heightened and increased. So when I'm working with my clients, it's like the information is downloading at the speed of light. Also, a lot more future, what we call premonitions or psychic visions
Oh,
come to me, but like all day long. Whereas before it would be throughout the day, but mainly when I would work with people. But now it's all day long. I might get a psychic vision about something I'm going to do within the same day, and that I
mm,
actually needed that piece of information to be prepared for that moment. So it's like everything is becoming so quantum. Like
mhm.
it's just something insane happened to me the other week. So I was doing this 3-day quantum leap challenge. And so I was looking at my phone, and the time on my phone started glitching because I was like, oh, I got about, 5 minutes before I go live. And I look, but the time on my phone is going back and forth between the minutes. So I'm like, we're literally shifting through the quantum field in real time. So everything is super accelerated right now if you've been working on your vibration.
Wow. Have you gotten, I mean, you saying everything is super accelerating. I think we're all experiencing that. Any messages you received on sleep? They tell
Mm,
us we should sleep this amount of time, that amount of time. And when you on and popping and you pursuing your destiny and passion, it's like you really don't have time to get as much
I
sleep
know.
as they recommend. So any
Yeah.
messages you have gotten recently on sleep?
Absolutely. Source actually had a bit of a sit down talk with me and my husband the other day. Like, we know you're super busy, but you need to prioritize
Mm,
rest because it's a significant aspect of maintaining your auric field, the
Mm,
strength of your auric field. So when you don't get the proper rest, you
mm.
actually weaken your this electromagnetic field that is your spiritual armor. So I know we're busy, we got a lot going on, but everybody
Wow.
should really be prioritizing this over the next 3 weeks. Pay attention to your dreams.
Mm,
Pay attention to your dreams. There's a lot, dream time is really sort of can be like shamanic traveling. So
mhm.
you get a lot of hidden messages and codes. Who needs to leave your life? What subconscious fears do you have? What cycle is closing? I would really pay attention to that as well right now over
Mhm.
the next 3 weeks when the veil is extremely thin.
Right, right, right. I want to ask you because I reached out to you the other day and I was like, "Yo, Erin, do you have any information on Three Eye Atlas? Everybody's talking about it." So I had this dream, and I didn't mention it on my show before, but since you on here, you're in your channel. I want to mention it, and I heard somebody else say something similar, so I'm like, I maybe I should let me ask around. Let me ask around. So you was talking about dreams. So I had this dream. This was probably about when the world first, when people really started talking about Three Eye Atlas. I had this dream that I was in, like, it looked like a spaceship. I don't know, it was like some,
Mm,
the room was super advanced, and
yep.
it was some dude in there that looked like what's the dude from Avengers, Iron Man. What's the, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Iron Man dude, the actor. It looked like some dude, white dude, looked like him, the actor from Iron Man. And we was talking, and we were talking about making adjustments to my body. And we was like, yo, I was like, we kept saying, yo, you gotta wait for that part of your body is numb
Yep.
before we put the thing in your body or whatever. And I'm just like, I'm sitting in a chair like this, like chilling like that, and I'm waiting for my body to get numb. And then when I wake up, like sometime I roll around when I sleep, and sometimes I sleep on my stomach or whatever. So I wake up and both my arms is numb as a mug. And I'm like, oh shit, I was that shit scared the shit up. It's one thing to have a dream, but then I have the sensation that you talked about in the dream is
Mm-hmm.
both my, it happened before, but like when my hand was numb, but not like, I'm talking about both my arms was numb. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
oh, shit. I'm like, why? I'm like, what the fuck? What was that? It didn't look like a hospital. And I'm just scratching my head. And I talked to my girl about it. I was like, baby, I don't want you to think I'm going crazy, right? But I want
Yeah.
to tell you something. But I didn't mention it. So my point is, I didn't mention it, but I heard somebody else said they had a dream similar to that. So I said,
I've heard that too, actually,
yeah,
within the last week, people
right.
having that dream. So I'm seeing a parallel version of yourself, parallel future. Yeah, we know time doesn't really exist, but that was actually your galactic self, an aspect of you communicating with you consciously, start pulling you into the timeline of this conscious contact and communication. And I see your crystalline light body is being prepared to fully come online. So that means everything, the vibration of your vessel
Right.
is purifying and increasing. So just letting you, that was just your other self letting you know that this is what's getting ready to happen, especially with the Three Eye Atlas coming through our solar system. So that's one of the ways that it's going to be working, because as it's coming in, it's shifting the gravitational force field, right?
Mm,
So that shifts your own personal electromagnetic field. And then what the galactics were showing me was a harmonization between the left and right hemispheres. All of that is connected to the crystalline nervous system and the crystalline light body, both which are needed to
mm,
step into the ascension timeline, we like to call it. But that group of beings that were having the conversation with you, they're actually like, you are a part of the planned unfolding of Earth's ascension.
mm.
They
Yeah.
kind of really want you to be aware of that right now. That there's a reason why you have this platform. You are literally a part of the planned ascension.
Yeah, I was surprised it was a white dude. I was like, should I trust him? I was like, I don't know. In this realm, I don't know about trust. I was like, should I trust him? But okay, that's deep that you say that. I'm glad, and I'm glad that I asked you and I had the opportunity to finally bring it up to the public, because just hearing other people talk about it, that's interesting.
Mhm,
Have you? I know you're a little younger than me. You remember Freddy Krueger?
mhm, mhm.
All right, so Freddy Krueger in the movies, he would visit you in your dreams. Do you think it's like that with entities, or like maybe
Hmm.
this comment where they have to wait to dream time to visit you? Is that like the most appropriate time for your ancestors, for entities or whoever to visit you? And if so, how can we properly prepare for that meeting? You know how you prepare for a job meeting? How do I properly prepare for that alien meeting in my dream? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the more you start recognizing that you can communicate in dream time, you can set an intention before you go to sleep. But at first, this sort of needs to happen without you being prepared, because there's a lot in your subconsciousness that's being revealed. So the example of Freddy Krueger, that's just an example of someone's subconscious fear. So you sort of don't want to prepare for it, because in the dream it's always showing you something about you. That's really important. I need everybody to understand everything is just an outward reflection of you. Um, I had a crazy dream the other night, so I ended up having to do this whole haunted house clearing. But the first night that I had to stay in this house,
Yeah.
the whole night I was dreaming that I was in battle with demonic beings
Shit.
and helping them reascend back into the light. And then the rest of the unfolding for that week was literally what ended up happening. Everything from an exorcism to a land clearing to so many energies and spirits asking to be cleared from early colonial timelines.
Whoa.
So your dream state can also be a foreshadowing of what's to come, or what's already happening in the spirit realm that's getting ready to unfold in the physical realm.
Man, you did an exorcism, Erin?
I do exorcisms, yeah.
Oh,
So
shit.
we're gonna talk about some stuff today, because the veil is thin, and especially with the three eye atlas coming through, what happens is densities are being purged, right? More faster than what they have been over the last decade. So if you have an unhealed shadow, you could potentially be susceptible to aspects of yourself that you're going to face, and it's really nothing to fuck around with.
Right. Um, quick question about exorcisms, if you don't mind. Um, because I don't know if I'm just watching TV or if I hear about it. It's like
Yeah.
the person has like incredible strength or something like that. Is that the
Oh
case?
yeah.
I want to
Oh yeah.
know why is it that why is it that an entity who doesn't have experience in this realm at this time has better knowledge of how to operate your avatar than you? So like we have all
Mm,
these limitations with the avatar entity coming, this motherfucker climbing on walls, and we like, how is it doing
yeah.
that? So how does the
Yeah.
entity
Well, some of the Hollywood pictures are a bit dramatic, like they're actually fallen angels, and
okay,
they're actually more limited than what we're shown, and that's all to create fear. But a lot of it, in terms of like the speed and things like that, is definitely real.
yeah,
So they have knowledge of,
hmm,
I'll put it this way, the original source plan and blueprint. So they know who you are. You don't know who you are, but they know who you are. And so that's the sort of trickster energy that can come with certain hidden information, but it's just really that they have always existed in the spirit realm.
right. Real quick, Aaron. So I did I forgot what it's called. The snake venom. Do you know what that's called? The venom.
You did Bufo or you did combo?
Oh no,
Okay.
Bufo. I was with Cam Bada. It was me, Cam Bada, and this battle rapper named Loaded Lux. And when Cam Bada did the Bufo, like he was like his everything changed, and I'm like, if I went to a realm of laughter. Like where I went, I'm expecting to see something so divine. I tell the people this, and it was just laughter. And I'm like, why?
Oh, I love that.
I'm like, what's so
Hmm.
funny? What the fuck?
Yeah.
This is a joke. I thought this was gonna be spiritual, but then I learned about laughter later on. But anyway, when Cambada did, he's like, and then he started walking on fire like, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like that was like my closest experience of somebody being taken over. Like we was in a park and he was just walking fast, touching things, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So that's like the
Yeah.
closest I've ever
This
been.
is real. This
Yeah,
is real.
yeah.
This
It
is
was
real.
like, it was
Yeah.
like, damn. So do you?
So
Yeah, good. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
This realm, because so many people consider it prison planet. So many people, I think I talked to you about this before. A lot of star seeds is like, I just want to get the hell out of here.
Mm-hmm.
It seems as though when you're on the other side looking in, this realm seems appetizing. And
Mm.
entities want to experience this realm. They want to take over your body. They want to experience whatever it is that we experience. Why do you think it's so appetizing on the other side of the realm and so not so appetizing once we're here experiencing it in first person?
One, we take it for granted, because there's a certain density that it's not like we're just experiencing love and light. We're experiencing the full spectrum of human emotion, suffering, pain, separation, grief, heartbreak, and it's set up that way. It's supposed to be that way.
Mhm.
This is sort of a side tangent, but the entities that want to experience through us are actually the fallen angels, meaning
Yeah.
they the whole reason why they want to weaken somebody's vibration to the point that they can take them over is
Mhm.
because they actually have a jealousy towards humans.
Oh,
That really is what the light and dark battle is, specifically in this realm. It's
yeah.
not like that across all universes. Specifically in this realm, the battle between light and dark is that fallen angels are sort of pissed off at Source because Source has stopped them from doing certain things. It's a whole other conversation, but they want to take you over, because they want the sensation of pleasure. But that's why you'll always realize when there's a entity, everything is exaggerated. They got to eat a lot of food, they got to have a lot of sex, they got to
Shit.
take a lot of drugs, they got, like, everything is in excess.
Yo,
So from
that's
that
deep.
perspective,
That's
that
deep.
those are what the seven deadly sins. If you reference the Bible, that's actually what that is in reference to, is all of those desires in excess.
Oh shit. So they want to experience it so bad, so they just do everything in excess.
And that's why it's just a lot. Now, it's very different to
Wow.
have, let me use the example of a galactic being or guide that's working with you and can sort of come in and out to support you and also be able to experience some things. The difference is that they aren't doing that from a vibration of lack, control, or trying to obtain power.
Right. What would you call like when we see somebody like, let's say, one of the greatest entertainers of all time, whether you, I'm not talking about politics, I'm just talking about entertainment value, is Beyonce. And she has an alter ego, Sasha Fierce, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that alter ego helped her get over stage fright. So
Mm-hmm.
what would you call that when somebody uses an alter ego with a different name?
Mm-hmm.
What type of possession when you call it, and they end up being extremely great at what they do? What type of possession would you call that? Is that a fallen angel? Is that your higher self? What is it?
Right, right. So that's a form of channeling.
Yeah.
Everyone does
Hmm.
that because you have these group consciousnesses that sort of blend or merge with our consciousness when we need it.
Yeah.
In the case of Hollywood, that's more so. I'm not going to say that Beyonce is doing this or not, but I'm just going to put it out there that some entertainers can be doing, intentionally opening themselves up to a certain spirit of a lower vibration.
Right.
So it can, most of us do it unconsciously, meaning different energies are just coming in to support us. And then some people do it in a low vibrational way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everything is a polarity, right? You have positive polarity of things in this realm, and you have a negative polarity. All, if you look at all things, there's always a positive polarity and a negative polarity.
Mm-hmm. Erin, how do you feel about the concept? Because you mentioned about the entities, and we're talking about this other side that we were taught to be so afraid of. It's bigger than
Mm.
the 3D realm. We're actually multidimensional beings. The concept in certain spiritual communities of feeding these spirits or these entities with food. So some people
Mm.
bananas out or fruit out or whatever.
Let's get into it.
How do
Let's get into that.
you?
So this might ruffle some feathers, but
Uh-oh.
if God sources everything, it doesn't require anything. Any spirit, any deity, any entity requiring that you leave an offering or you sacrifice an animal or you're leaving tobacco and rum and all of these things, understand you are engaging in a lower vibrational relationship. This is not something that source requires. Now, in original African spirituality, in ancient spirituality, the concept of an offering was to invoke a true devotional feeling of gratitude, which is one of the highest vibrations. Not to serve, not to sacrifice, not to give something outside of yourself, something that you believe grants you power. Sources coming through right now. If you are engaging in practices of sacrificing animals or anything else, please stop immediately. This will cause another lifetime and just significant karma. Significant karma.
Wow. So wow. Yeah. A lot of spiritual systems do the whole animal sacrificing. What? Okay, wow. So let me ask you this, since you brought up African spirituality. Halloween is around the corner. One thing we do during Halloween, Erin, is we put on masks and we wear costumes. And what's interesting is that the avatar that I'm clothed in right now is a
Mhm.
costume for my soul. So we put on costumes, but we already have a costume on already. How do you how do you feel about the idea? Is when we talk about African spirituality, I notice they, like, I see the Dogon and they wear these elaborate
Mhm.
masks. Do
Mhm.
you think that's one of the more effective ways of tapping into our higher self by wearing something that we're not, and maybe this Halloween
Mm.
thing is a little bigger than what we think it is? I
I'm just going into the Akashic records for this one.
see you looking left, right, up, down. Yeah. I think that.
I'm seeing these original ceremonies where
Yeah,
masks were used
yeah.
to, this is just what they believed at the time, to actually scare off certain entities, or to
Wow.
something about the mask putting them into a vibration of confidence
Yeah.
that would invoke a spirit of power and warding off evil spirits. That's the origination of that. So
Wow.
times where it was known that the veil was thin and there would be this access to the spirit realm, they would put on the mask to invoke an energy of power from their core, just so they could feel empowered. And the belief was that they were warding off certain spirits.
Mhm. That's very interesting. Speaking of evil spirits, and one of the things you mentioned when I talked to you, you text me, you mentioned the topic of spiritual warfare.
Mhm.
Is spiritual warfare, evil spirits, is that something, and I'm not sure if I asked you this before, is that something we should protect ourselves from, or with something like that, it's all about, should we just keep in our mind the idea of alignment? Because
Mhm.
once you're in alignment, if whatever's not in alignment cannot touch you anyway.
Sure.
So this idea of protection, I don't know what culture it originated from, but can you compare the idea of protection
Mhm. Mhm.
versus the idea of alignment?
Mhm. Something that I've grown into is recognizing that spiritual maturity is holding both polarities in your awareness at the same time. I want to use the example of someone like Esther Hicks, right? That channels Abraham Hicks,
Hmm.
which I love, by the way. And
Yeah.
that's all about maintaining a pure frequency, which does shield you from certain things. Now, as someone who does exorcisms,
Oh man.
the reality is that these lower portions, these lower vibrations of the universe are here. And as long as you maintain your vibration, you don't have to you do neutralize them, but to completely ignore them is being a bit spiritually immature.
Mm,
I'll put it that way.
mm. Wow.
But to more directly answer your question, managing your auric field, that is your armor, that is your spiritual armor. It's your frequency, but it's what you eat, it's what you watch, it's who you're around, it's the activities that you engage in, it's your belief system. So you see, your vibration, you have a dominant signal, right? There's a
Mhm.
frequency signal that you're radiating from your being,
Yeah.
usually unconsciously all the time. But it's not just one thing. It's many different things that makes up that vibration.
Yeah.
So you want to dissect your life, across every single territory. This is coming through relationships
Mm.
with the people closest to us is oftentimes how these entities work. You're in a relationship that you're drained or exhausted, or there's a lack of trust, or this person is not putting in the same amount of energy. This person has a negative attitude. Okay, you're spending time with them every single day, and now you're in a karmic loop, and it's like a battery being drained. Entities are working in your relationship through that person.
Mm.
So raising your vibration, a simple thing to do is to just accept that maybe they can't meet you where you are and exit that relationship. And that's actually a message for a couple people here.
Erin, how do you show unconditional love to somebody who isn't on your frequency anymore? Maybe they may
Mm,
have been on your frequency,
mm,
they're not anymore, but you want to exercise this idea of unconditional love and still accept them in their lives. How do you do that without harming yourself and showing unconditional love at the same time?
mhm. Ironically, it's actually by removing yourself, because the highest thing you can do for their spirit is to no longer perpetuate their unconsciousness. Speak truth.
I'm listening. I'm listening. You
You
like
can speak the truth with
you,
love, but
yo,
this is what people do. They think, well, I love them so much, so I'm going to stay. Okay, well, you're not helping them, because you're setting an environment in which you're condoning and co-validating a lack of consciousness. Whereas, like, oftentimes when I'm working with my clients and it has something to do with the soul tie in a relationship, the higher self of the other person will come in and say, I'm begging them to leave so I can learn my damn lesson.
right, right, right.
So that's the alchemy. Sometimes the unconditional love is you walking away so they can learn something.
Right, right. Yeah, you know what I
I'm
listen,
sorry
you
if I'm intense tonight,
no,
but
no, it is. I'm
I
glad
knew
you
it
said
was
that.
one of them times.
I was just about to make a comment. I just wrote this down. Your tone is older and wiser. What there's something I'm trying to figure out. Is this a part of your remembrance or ascension? But the way you're talking to me tonight, talking to the people tonight, you have this very wise, older,
Yes.
sophisticated, laid back
Source puts
tone.
me through a
What's
lot of
going on?
shit, Rich.
What's going on?
Source puts me into a
Like,
lot of stuff.
yeah,
So this is the spiritual maturity I'm talking about, right? You have periods of time where it's all sunshine, cookies, rainbows, lollipops, and then you just have times where you have to put on the armor and you have to speak
wow.
truly and directly. And this is just one of those time periods.
Whoa, wow. Yeah, you tough tonight. You tough tonight.
Yeah.
You tough. Listen, all right, Erin. And somebody commented on it, and I'm glad they did because this was one of the questions I want to ask. I want to find it if I can. But anyway, I don't see it. I'll find it. But let me ask a question. I wanted to ask because I've asked so many people this question about the ringing in the ears, and
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
do you feel as though the more we ascend, will that intensify? And if it does intensify, what message is that? Because everything is sound and vibration and tone and frequency. If it does intensify, what does that necessarily mean for us if we have an intensified ringing in our ears than we had prior years?
So your ear is a vibrational instrument,
Yep.
and as we know, sound waves, they vibrate. But
Mhm.
as your ear chakra and this ear instrument is being attuned, meaning it's being activated, you can experience the subtle uh feeling of that ringing, which is just you becoming more sensitive to different sound waves, different octaves of sound, different
Mhm.
vibrational frequency of sound. But the ringing, it's not really meant to last. It's just the instrument is attuning itself. And then you can hear the voice of spirit, which it just vibrates in a different range.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. No, definitely, definitely. We mentioned a little earlier, Aaron, Halloween. Could you tell us a little bit about the original purpose of the Day of the
Mhm.
Dead? I know people talk about
Mhm.
the Day of the Dead. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Respecting ancestors, respecting the aspect of life that is death, meaning that transition. But I want to go into actually sources bringing through, I want to go into the frequency of 13 specifically because Halloween, the 31st, is just the 13 in reverse.
Mm.
So, three, as most of us know, is connected to the Fibonacci sequence. Okay, the
Mhm.
Galactics are calling it the feminine
Woo!
Fibonacci sequence, which is the spiral of all life. It's
Yep.
the Fibonacci sequence, the three, the six, the nine. That's exponential creation. That's the femininity. That's the source creation. And so 13, right? You get one, which is a new beginning, then you get the three. So that's why the 13 is such one, it's a feminine frequency, but it's extremely powerful. On the 31st, we get the 13 in reverse. It carries the same vibrational charge. Now, when we get Friday the 13th or Friday the 31st, Friday is a Venus day connected to the planet Venus, which is governed by a frequency of unconditional love. So, those are powerful portals for manifestation. Friday the 13th and the 31st, especially when Halloween is on the 31st on a Friday.
Right. And speaking of all right, speaking of Halloween, all right, so let me just mention Christmas. Christmas is a holiday. Have you ever heard of Santos Bonacci?
No.
All right, so he talks about astrotheology, and he talks about how Christmas, the holiday, is an eternal. It's an eternal happening that's going on inside of us. He talks about
Mm,
the sacred fluid, our spinal fluid, and all the Kundalini and the awakening and the Christ and the 33 vertebrae is the Christ at 33 and all this stuff.
mm-hmm.
And he talks about the esoteric meaning of the Christmas tree and the Christmas lights, and he connects it to Sirius and all of that. I want to know, what do you think is there esoteric meaning? So if we use a Christmas tree and there's all types of hidden meanings behind the
Mm,
Christmas tree and the chimney and
mm-hmm.
all that, is it the same with Halloween and the pumpkin? Why specifically the pumpkin? Why are we all tapped into this pumpkin energy during this time where the veil is the thinnest?
You know, a lot of these holidays they evolve over time,
Right.
right?
Okay.
Meaning they start out as a lot of them were pagan celebrations, but even before that, we could go ancient Kemet, right? A lot of these, uh, our ancestors were just really in tune with seasons and cycles. But then over time, based on a specific culture, or there may be a specific ruler I'm even hearing that brings in a certain element or symbol, you can neutralize all of that by just being in a vibration of love. Like, I love
Mm,
Christmas. I
mhm,
love doing the tree. I use it as a symbol of joy, gratitude, family, gift giving. So you can transmute all of what we could say are hidden meanings or rituals by just being using your own intention to override whatever original energy was there.
mhm, mhm.
But it's
No,
just an evolution. Like, each time period adds on something to the tradition. And so, like, now we get trick-or-treating and Halloween, or trick-or-treating and dressing up in costume on Halloween. It keeps evolving.
Yo, I told people this before with Christmas and the Christmas tree. I like buying the real Christmas tree.
Mm.
It's like a big ass essential oil. When you walk by it, that smell of that pine.
It's
If
a
I,
powerful spirit.
Oh, it really is. Like, if people only like that, to have a big ass a real Christmas tree and to smell that pine, it's like all I
Mhm.
need me is a glass of wine, and I just tune into my imagination. I'm just chilling by the Christmas
Yeah.
tree all night. I could just chill there all night long. That's how. So
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, it's very interesting when you're able to alchemize certain things or able to follow your inner spirit. You know. What?
Because, since we're talking about the spirit realm and light and dark, something that I see a lot in the spiritual community is and a hyper obsession with conspiracy theories. And then when these people come into my sessions, they got all type of attachments and can't hold down a job, or life is not progressing.
Yeah.
All conspiracy theories are, it's not necessarily vibrationally healthy to sit up and just think about all of the symbology all the time. It can lower your vibration and create this sort of dark, the way you experience life is, it becomes very dark when we talk about this is a prison planet. No, the version that you're experiencing feels that way.
Oh man.
I'm not experiencing
Oh,
a prison planet. I'm in co-creation with source, high vibrational angels, so many amazing beings. So
oh.
you can experience the positive polarity of earth, which is what makes you a master, which is the whole point of why your soul chose to come here. Not to just keep playing into, well, they're doing this and they're doing that. We already know what they've been doing. What are you doing with your vibration?
Do, do you go with your tone again, Erin?
Because when you see people being taken over,
Yeah.
seriously,
Yeah, and honestly, yeah.
yeah, I got to keep it real.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, no, I definitely feel you. Erin, what do we talked about a lot, and what it's only been 35 minutes. We've covered a lot in 35 minutes.
Mm,
Erin, what would you say? And one thing you talked about that you was like, I don't want to ruffle any feathers when you talked about it's not necessary to sacrifice things or feed your ancestors and all that stuff. What do you think those your great grandmother, what does
mm.
she want most from Erin Lyons?
For me to transmute anything I inherited from her in my DNA, be it lack, fear, separation, victimization. You see, when we choose a bloodline to incarnate into from your higher self perspective, you can see all of the lower matrix frequency imprints in that DNA. As you ascend, the purpose of the ascension journey is that you are healing all within yourself, transmuting it, and then you're vibrating in a frequency where you can hold your Christ consciousness template,
Mm,
the light body, the crystalline light body I was talking to you about earlier.
right, right. Okay.
So that's all they want. They don't need anything from us, right? When any spirit leaves its encasement and it returns back into pure source, it knows that it's everything. It's always been everything. There's nothing you can give it.
Mm, mm, mm.
That's
Erin,
it.
Erin, how does it? Would you say you are with what you do and what you've been through, and maybe people not receiving the message that you did talk about when it comes to the other side, and the other side being alive and us not being just third dimensional beings? Uh, some people will say a person like you is a lonely master. Um, is loneliness something? I remember one time 50 Cent said jealousy, envy. He named a list of traits that come with
Mm,
having a lot of money. And he was like, this
sure.
comes with the territory, and people are not prepared for what
Mhm.
comes with that.
Absolutely.
Is loneliness something that just comes with, you see the pyramid, and at the top
Mm-hmm.
is the most
Mm-hmm.
powerful. So is loneliness something in this realm that just comes with being a master and having knowledge yourself?
What I'll say is I cycle through people really fast, and
Hmm.
it's something that I've accepted as a part of this work and journey. But I do have a lot of true soul family coming in right now,
Yeah.
which is just a true sign of this ascension jump we're all getting ready to go through. But also having my husband, my son, starting a family, that was really important for me because it can be lonely if you're continuously cycling through people, and then there's a small percentage of people on the planet that you can share your full self with. um so remember we talked about releasing those unfulfilling relationships, everybody. You really want to do that so you can start calling in the people, be it romantic, friendships, whatever. Release them. The higher vibrational tribe is coming in. They're starting to come in.
Hmm. What do you think if we're talking about the other side is awakening and awakes? You mentioned your husband and your family. What if somebody has dreams about somebody they never met before?
Mm,
They may have they may experience intimacy with somebody
sure.
they've never encountered. Um,
Mm.
what do you think? What does that mean, Erin?
Well, it can mean this person is getting ready to come into your life. It could be a subconscious desire that you have to be with someone else. And so the spirit realm is just using that symbology of another person. Um, It could be many different things. You know, the spirit realm is
Mhm.
infinite. It depends on that person's unique situation.
Indeed, indeed. Do you think it's possible, like if somebody's experiencing that, is that person like what if that person never comes into their life? Do you think it's fine? Like,
Mm.
is it like maybe it was meant for them just to like is it interdimensional love?
You know
You know,
what?
like that's a crazy concept. Like you know how you fall in love with somebody and this like imagine if you
Well,
only love somebody from another dimension. That's some crazy shit right there. Like they'd be like, "Are you
well,
married in a relationship?" Be like, "Yeah, but he's in another dimension." Like that's some wild
yeah.
shit right there. You might
We
be
we
bugged
do
out.
have all of these lifetimes happening simultaneously. So it is possible. I have seen it in working with people that they can be connected to even like a relationship they're in on a galactic level. Those are some advanced things. But I wanted to bring this up. Usually, when I see this type of dream with people, there's a massive sexual suppression happening in their life, meaning they may have not been intimate in that way in a long time. Maybe their relationship lost intimacy. But that's usually when I see those types of dreams starting to show up.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. So, in terms of your imagination, and some people only experience certain things in the dream world or their imagination.
Mhm.
Would you say somebody who's able to communicate with divine source, you experience the frustration of humanity? Would you say your imagination is more exciting than physical
Yes.
reality? Like, does sometimes
Mhm.
you tap in? Is it like, oh, this is the greatest, and is it better than what you experience in this realm?
For me personally, no.
Mhm.
When you are escaping, meaning the reality that's in front of you, you don't fully enjoy it. I find that's when people rely heavily on their imagination, which is a good thing. It's a tool, right?
Yeah.
You're using that to stabilize your vibration or shift you into a different frequency. That's manifestation. But
Mhm.
I don't really actively use my imagination to manifest anymore because I like what's in front of me. Sometimes I do, but I don't need to live
That's
there.
interesting.
I don't. It's there's a certain vibration where everything I want it just happens on autopilot. I don't even have to try. To
Mm.
me, that's better because you're present. You're fully present in this 3D hologram.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, no, that's extremely interesting. Like I haven't heard nobody say use like I don't even like my life is so popping. I don't even use my man like that is wow. Like you got it going on. I can't front on you.
I use my
Like,
imagination, but this
damn.
is not how I used to will things, right? To escape, to make things happen.
Right. Is it always escapism when you use your imagination, you think, or
No,
is it
no, I don't think so. It's a creative tool as well. That's the way I engage my imagination when I need to. So I'm actually getting ready to open a wellness healing center here in San Diego. And so the building like is just a slab of stone. I had to imagine where everything would be, and then I had a sketch artist bring it to life. That's how I like to use my imagination. Create when it's creative.
Mm. No, definitely. I get exactly what you're saying when you say it when it's creative. I get exactly what you're saying. I want to bring up something we talked about a little earlier because I said when I right before our conversation that I visited your Instagram and I was like, "Whoa!" I seen the truth about Salem witch trials. I was like, "Whoa!" I said, "Erin is going there." I said, "Shit, damn, what is she on? She is going there."
Yeah.
I want to ask you, do you think so? I named the show tonight "Stranger Things," the
Mm.
other side of awakes.
Hmm.
There's a show on Netflix called Stranger Things, and one of the things they and everybody make sure you check out Erin Lyons. Instagram is Erin Lyons official. She has a great Instagram. I'll make sure I check it out from time to time, and make sure you check it out. A lot of good information on there as well as a YouTube. But one of the things about the Stranger Things show is that they talk about is very interesting. They from at least from when I watched it, I don't know what's going on now, but they had this young girl. She grew up now. She's older now, but there was this actress. Her name and in the show, her name was 11, and I guess they kidnapped her or whatever.
Mhm, mhm,
And she had these special abilities, these special powers, telekinesis, I believe it was.
mhm,
And
mhm.
they were drugging her and making her use her powers for their benefits.
Yep.
When we hear about the Salem witch trials, Erin, do you think not just killing the witches, do you think they were also doing that? Like, why would if the witches was that powerful, so-called witches, that wasn't their real name, but do you think they were like recruiting them
Mm.
and making them work for the CIA, FBI, or whoever the person was that they was that was in charge at that time?
So here's the crazy thing. There were only 33 or so of them who were actual white witches, meaning actively working with spirit in that way. The rest of the other 200 something that were killed were Christian. It was just a hysteria. It was
Oh,
just a religious delusion spreading around.
right.
But they weren't necessarily, because I had a past life recall when I was in Salem. They
Yeah.
weren't necessarily using them, but there was a lot of torture and stealing of land and inheritance from women. So if you were a widow, if you were a single woman, these types of things during that time, oh, we'll just call her a witch. So now who gets the land?
Oh man, yeah.
You see, so a lot of women today struggle with holding wealth, or they may subconsciously fear holding wealth or having power, or they may subconsciously keep the throat chakra closed because of all of these instances throughout history where there was an attack on the divine feminine, even if she wasn't even actually doing what we would consider to be witchcraft.
Right.
Just by existing, she was a threat.
Erin, do you think everybody has a bias that they have to work on from a past life? And if so, like you talked
Mm.
about the Salem, oh shit, I just knocked down my maybe something's trying to talk to me. I just knocked down my if you're talking about the Salem witch trials, is there any bias that you feel as though you may have to work on from that life experience you had in this realm?
Mhm.
Yeah.
For sure. It can show up in different ways. Maybe you have, okay, the example that's coming through is maybe you have an extreme hate towards religious ideas, concepts, figures, as opposed to just accepting, oh, their soul has chosen that path in this incarnation.
Hmm.
Or maybe it's a specific race of people that you really didn't like. So you had to come back as that thing to experience being that.
Mm, mm,
These are the types of examples that I see. But yeah, usually most of us, we have something from the previous life and many other lives that we are working out. And the goal is that you get to this place where
mm,
you see and accept everyone as yourself.
mm.
Then you don't have to come back, and coming back is more of a choice. But when you operate in separation, Source always tells me anything that you hate, you will return as.
If we're all right, Erin, if we're seeing everybody as ourselves, what do you personally think you working on exorcisms means to you?
That's a great question.
Okay.
And a reason why the exorcisms work when you understand this.
Yeah.
Even the fallen angels are an aspect of source, but
Mm,
an aspect who have forgotten who they are. Is just a frequency spectrum. You could get so far, so deep
mm,
into the forgetting,
mm,
into the darkness essentially, that like most of them actually don't feel worthy to ascend back into the light.
mm,
So when you go into a situation like an exorcism, it's not, you actually don't approach it as a battle.
mm,
You do have to have a certain authority to command that energy to leave, but it's that you understand that all is one, so you collapse the idea of separation itself,
right.
which gives you more strength and more power to command it away.
Mm, mm. Erin, I wanna touch on something we talked about earlier, Halloween. And I want to ask you, I think today's October 24th. We're right around the corner from Halloween. In your opinion, the children, the children love Halloween. Them dressing up as monsters and gargoyles and all this stuff, do you see it? You laughing? Do you do you see it as harmless, or do you see this
Mm.
as something that was programmed into our psyche to in order to conjure up a certain energy or a certain deity or whatever?
Mhm, mhm. It's all about the intention that you seed within your children.
Okay.
So if you seed this intention that this is a celebration, it's having fun, it's playing dress up, it's exploring your imagination, then that's what it will be. If you put if you seed a belief of fear, then now it works differently. So
Mhm.
for parents, I would say get clear on what it means to you. And if you are going to engage in the dressing up and all of that, decide the frequency from which you're going to participate. That is what your timeline will show you.
Erin, how do you talk to somebody? You know, and these are all things that whether we talked about conspiracies a little earlier. So the conspiracy of Halloween, the conspiracy of this, the conspiracy of that. As somebody that is on the level you're at now, how do you talk to somebody who approaches you with conspiracy theories when you may know that that's what got them out of the default matrix?
Sure.
Conspiracy
I
theories is the
understand.
first thing that brings
Yeah,
you out of it because the spirituality is too advanced. So
for
the
sure.
conspiracy theory is the bridge from
Mm,
the collective
mm,
matrix and
yeah.
crossing over. So how do you talk to them without like over criticizing it because
Mm,
necessary for them to even get where they were at? What's your approach to that?
for sure. I love the way you frame that. Simply ask, what's your plan of action? What's your response? What are you going to do?
Mhm.
It's not enough to recognize that there may be something negative or dark happening, aka the conspiracy theory, but just give that energy without a solution. How are you going to be solution oriented? This is the loop of the collective, the karmic loop, continuously talking about what the darkness is doing, what the other side is doing. But you know this, but you just keep, life goes on and you keep eating the same food and you keep doing the same things and you keep hanging around the same people. What are you going to do about it? That's the question.
Yeah, yeah, no, that is an excellent point. What are you going to do about it? And I think that's something we all have to keep into consideration. But Erin, I've been doing this for. I done interviewed people and asked thousands of questions, and I always try to
Mhm.
keep that in mind when I hear the conspiracy theory. Is that how
Mhm.
important that is for people just to initially get out of the
It
matrix.
is. It is. It
This is
is.
why, Erin. This is why, like a lot of my shows, it's like different grades in school. Like one show
Mhm.
I may do is first grade. This show is second grade. You
Yeah.
may be a little advanced. You know what I'm saying? You may be you like regents and shit like that. Like you're in the advanced course and shit.
I
But
get it. I get it.
all of them is like necessary. And I try not to be judgmental to what somebody is experiencing at that time.
Mhm.
I see I got a super chat question. I also see it's we're about to approach the hour mark. So I want to give y'all the opportunity. Erin hasn't been on here in a while, so I know y'all got questions to ask her some questions as well. I don't want to just take up all the time. So I'm gonna get to about 5 questions. You got time for 5 questions, Erin?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's do 5. Before we do that, and before we get to the end of the broadcast, is there anything you want to tell the people about that you got going on right now that you want them to know that because
Mm.
you came from Salem and you going to Shasta, like you got all this
I
stuff.
might do a Halloween magic manifestation circle next week.
Ooh,
So
whoa.
just stay on the lookout. Go to my website, get on the email list, and you'll get the information. But I'm trying to see, sometimes you need to rest. But I might wake up, next week and I'm like, no, I got to do it. It feels like it's gonna happen, but that's it for right now.
Right. Okay, let's get to I see. Let me get to this first super chat question. First 5 questions I'm gonna ask. Let's get to the super chat question first. What is the significance of San Diego as it relates to Source's plan and you being there?
It's just a part of a grid we're creating for energy healing across the world. But not just me. This is important, source is saying. Anybody, wherever you are,
Hmm.
raise your vibration, have a loving intention to serve source, the light, the collective every single day. And you are also doing grid work where you are.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's not just San Diego or certain places, it's everywhere.
Hmm.
It's everywhere.
Indeed. All right. Let's get to the next question. Somebody says, Erin, what does she
Mm.
feel about crystals?
You know what? I think
You
I'm like, should I share this or not? I'm going to share this.
got to. Come on. You got to, Erin.
In a recent exorcism, something that caught me by surprise was the removing of crystals,
Mhm.
just to allude to the power and effectiveness of them. Meaning, in that infiltrated state, removing of crystal bracelets and things because they absorb and push away. They absorb lower vibrations, but also can
Oh.
push them away. So, everybody should be wearing a hematite ring every day. You should be gridding your home with crystals. There's a book by Elliot Eli Jackson. Well, really, you should read the full Sapiential Discourses, but there's specifically a book. I think it's Sapiential Discourses, the fourth book, Spiritual Warfare, where Source lays out all of the crystals and what they do, which ones you need to be having on you or with you every single day, which essential oils push away lower vibrations from your auric field, all types of good stuff. You guys should really check that out.
Wow. Very, very.
Elliot Eli Jackson. You
Yeah.
want to be getting his books and his information. A black man that channels pure source energy.
Very interesting. Yeah. Make sure y'all get that book.
So I
Um.
hope that answers with crystals, but it's just crystalline. It's anchors pure frequency and energy. So I'm holding like my selenite right now, just to purify the field around my technology.
What you was holding it during the whole interview?
I had a okay. I had
God
I
damn.
had
Shit,
this one because this one what is this carnelian opens the throat chakra. I had this one, and then I was guided to grab this one. So yes, crystals, crystalline consciousness, they're also spirits. They are living beings, and they can help you project. Okay, sources like you're giving them all the good.
Yeah.
You can time travel with crystals. You know those big geodes, especially. There's certain commands and things that will allow you to travel through space and time.
Yeah. Wow.
That's it about crystals.
All right. Um. Somebody asked, "What about?" Oh no, shit. Hold up. What about offerings for ancestors? Question mark.
Mm-hmm,
Flowers, candles, incense,
mm-hmm.
etc. Question mark. Question
Yeah.
mark.
What frequency are you doing this from? If you're doing it from, I really need to show my appreciation and gratitude so they can help me pay my rent,
Hmm.
you're engaging in lack, and you're engaging in a lower vibrational relationship, because again, source doesn't need anything, or any ancestor, any spirit that has fully returned and been absorbed back into source energy, it doesn't really need anything. Now, if you're setting that out as a reminder of strength, connection, the gifts that you have inherited in your DNA. So if you want to see what you're doing, ask yourself, what am I trying to gain?
Hmm.
And you'll recognize if you're doing this subconsciously from lack.
Hmm. Indeed. Indeed. Next question, Aaron. What does it mean to? Well, why is it? It is like a delay. What does it mean to sell your soul to the good side? I don't. Do you understand that question?
What does it mean to sell your soul to the good side?
I don't.
So your soul can never be for sale.
Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah. Yeah.
Your soul can never be for sale, because it belongs to source. It is source. It's a individualized crystallization of source's consciousness. um it just goes back to eternity and existence and creation itself needs nothing from you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It just is.
Mm-hmm.
You can think you're doing that, but when if you're doing something like that, rest assured there are lower entities involved in that type of exchange or relationship.
Mm-hmm. Next question, Aaron. Can sorcerers put a spirit in somebody's body with their consent?
No, it's not allowed. It's just not allowed. Source is saying it's just not allowed. No.
Hmm. All right.
Now,
Yeah.
um, this word sorcerer. Okay, we'll just say someone who intends to use universal laws and vibrational frequency negatively. The only thing they can do is influence someone to lower their vibration and then inflict certain negative experiences on themselves, meaning they will create these experiences, manifest these experiences. So a sorcerer or someone who they're doing black magic or whatever they think they're doing, they just may be getting this person to be fearful or to believe that they're cursed, whatever they're doing, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's how it works, because no one can create in your reality. You're just in a vibration that you allow it to happen.
I got a question I wanna ask you, Aaron. I just thought of in terms of like the type of person you are, and say, what the knowledge that you have of energy, frequency, vibration, and resonance. If there was a girl around you who participated in behavior that was the complete opposite of yours, and let's say she was just completely reckless in life,
Mm-hmm.
completely reckless.
Mm.
I'm assuming you would not want to uh put your energy next to her energy. Like that's like it's incompatible, because you want
Yeah.
to be around energy that reflects energy that you want to participate in. In terms of exorcisms, you putting your energy around these entities that have uh taken over somebody's body, and they may not have the best of intention. How do you feel as though that affects you energetically?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you successfully
Sure.
perform the exorcism,
Mm-hmm.
your proximity to that entity,
Yeah.
how does that affect Erin Lyons in the long run?
Yeah, so this is why you have to be at a very high vibration to do things like this.
Mhm.
Um, Something that I experience is um, I can feel my body being crystallized before going into something of that level of intensity, as to make sure none of that residual energy is absorbed. But you know, residual energy can sort of get caught up in your auric field. So I went to the ocean yesterday, like salt is really good.
Yeah.
I do release letters where I'll write a letter of release towards whatever situation, event, person, location, burn it and disconnect the energy cord. So there is a vibrational hygiene and energetic maintenance that goes into all spiritual practices when you're sharing a temporary space with that type of frequency.
Erin, do you think, depending on what age you are and what you have been through in life, dictates what you should be allowed to do spiritually? And let me give you an example.
Hmm.
So, in terms of, let's say, warfare, a lot of people feel as though the elders are for counsel and the young people should go to war, because the
Mm-hmm.
elders can guide the young people and tell them what to do and what not to do because of their life experience. Do you feel as though in the spiritual realm, um, do you feel as though it's the same way, where let's say you have a family, should you be not allowed to perform, should exorcisms and or certain things only be permitted to somebody
Mm.
who's by themselves, don't have children, etc., etc.? Like, is it that same way in the spirit realm as it is in warfare?
No. So I'm getting this specific example of Jesus right now for an example. Um, or for some reason, the way the Bible paints his story, right, is that this was a person who wasn't married, who didn't have children.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is what gave him a purity. That is what made him superhuman, and godlike, or God in the flesh. But that whole lie was orchestrated and created to get humans to believe that just as their ordinary selves, they have no power. So
Mm.
to romanticize this idea of what it means to be enlightened, Jesus had children, Buddha had children,
Mm.
many of these figures,
Talk to him,
okay?
Aaron. Talk to
Because
him.
then when you remove the children, you know who else you remove? The feminine.
Talk to him,
They
Aaron.
were family men. And
Talk to
sources
him,
coming in and
Aaron.
saying it's actually parenthood and marriage are initiations into a certain level of mastery, because it requires that a person is not selfish. See, everything is has been flipped. Oh,
Wow.
get them to think they should be lonely and alone and go live in the forest, and that's the key to the kingdom of God. When actually, it's, can you manage a family? Can you share love? Can you be devoted to someone outside of yourself? That's true mastery. That's true leadership. That's true embodiment.
Man, I don't know if I'm ready for this militant side of Erin Lyons. I don't know if I'm ready for this. This is the militant.
This,
This
my
is the
students and people know
militant.
this is how I talk
This
behind
is
the
the
scenes.
militant
So
Erin
this is a
Lyons
good one.
family. I am wow. We're gonna do one more question. This was a hell of a
Okay.
show. This was a hell of a show. I'm like, this was a good show, y'all. Oh man, wow, wow, wow. Okay. Whoa, this was a good show. All right, let's get to one last question. Then we're gonna get out of here. Make sure you support the sister. I mean, this is power. This is what you call power, a display of feminine power. Like this, yeah, this is a display of feminine power. I would say, yeah, this is dope. Let me see. All right, let me ask this. Do giants exist in a parallel realm? Can we sense them, Erin?
Yes, but they're here now. It just requires a certain clairvoyance to see them. Like my husband sees all types of shit every day, and he's like,
Wow.
"Oh, you look like an octopus woman today." And I'm like, "Great, that's amazing." And I'm seeing this giant. So, if it's a part of uh your clairvoyance range, then you'll see them. And sometimes you know, or maybe you won't until you get to a certain level of your clairvoyancy, if that's meant for you.
Mm,
But everything we can imagine is here: unicorns, fairies, dragons, giants, ETs. It's all here.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Dope answer. Yo, Wale had an amazing debut on the channel. He had an
Oh,
amazing
it
debut.
was good. It was
Yeah,
amazing. I got a chance to watch it.
yeah, okay, good, good. Yeah, he had an amazing debut on
It
the
was good. It was
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Hmm.
shout out to him. Shout out to you once again. Listen, I really appreciate the show tonight. Anything before we get out of here, anything you want to tell the family before we get out of here? Any
I
message,
know.
any three
Yeah,
eye
I listen,
anything
I
like
know,
Erin, don't
I
hold
know
back.
we went very militant today, but I promise life is a fun, beautiful, miraculous unfolding. It really is. And you know what? That's what mastery is. It's the spiritual maturity to address the darkness when you have to, but
Yeah,
that most of the time you are experiencing beauty, love, and bliss.
right.
Um, that's my desire, for that everybody can experience that type of life.
Indeed. With that being said, Erin, thank you so much. Enjoy
Thank
the
you,
rest.
Rich.
Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your the Halloween. The whole the thinning of the veil. Do what you got to do, Erin. And I will talk to you soon. All right.
Bye, guys.
All
Much
right.
love.
Peace.
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 Thank you.
Peace. All right, family. Make sure you today I'm not gonna be back till Monday. I won't be back till Monday. I'm gonna take the weekend off. That was it was a very powerful, spiritually intense show tonight. Very much needed, and the perfect way to end the week. You know, perfect way to end the week. Very spiritually intense. Not I don't even know if I want to say intense, but just we she was standing on business tonight. So yeah. New Diamond said loved it. Yeah. Erin was standing on business tonight. Family. So I did listen. The last 4 days has been great with y'all. Um, Dr. Valentine. And uh Top Cats. Erin Lyons. I forgot who the other guest was to start off the week, but it's been a great. Who did I have on Tuesday? Who was the guest? I don't know. I forget now. So much going on. I forget. But it's been yeah, it's been a great week here, and next week is going to be just as great. After next week, we got the AI Gods of Intelligence workshop. Make sure y'all sign up for that. That is extremely important. Let me share that link in the chat, and let me share that link in the chat. Family going wild. Let me share that link in the chat. Also, family, if you would like, damn, I meant to bring up the cigars to Erin. I want to know if her and Wale, if they deal with the cigars at all. Oh, Rod Hayes, yeah, how I forget Rod? Damn, how I forget Rod? Damn, yeah, Rod Hayes, yeah, how I forget Rod? Shout out to Rod Hayes. Um, yeah, Rod Hayes, Phil Valentine. Hold up, yo, check this out. This was crazy. This was amazing. Rod Hayes, Phil Valentine, Top Cats, and Erin Lyons for the week. That's a hell of a lineup. You don't see that anywhere. Like that type of lineup. And each show was amazing. Each show was amazing, full of energy and vibration and frequency, high frequency shows. So yeah, it was just a dope week on 363 Empire. If you missed any of the other shows, make sure you tune in. But with that being said, if any of you, just a reminder, if any of you are interested in the cigars, I know a lot of y'all, once I get off the show, I see questions like, how do I get the cigars? So I just shared the link um for the cigars. Yo, New Diamonds, I seen that show you did. New Diamond said, I'm on next, Rich. I seen that show you did on 3 Eye Atlas, and I had comment. I think I left a comment. I don't know if you seen the comment, but you went in. You went in on 3 Eye Atlas. So that's the first show I ever seen. It just popped up on my feed, and I took a look at it, and it was powerful. So I don't know the name of New Diamond's YouTube, but make sure y'all check out her YouTube. She has a great video on the whole 3 Eye Atlas, but that was powerful. So yeah, I'm gonna be checking your stuff out and seeing what you about. That was real. That was real dope. All right. Uh, Somebody said, "Can I get the like for cigars? They are." I have no idea what you're saying, Teresa. That is not a proper sentence. Can I get the like for cigars? They are. I can't describe. And I don't know if you complimented me. I don't. I don't know what that sentence means. So Teresa, if you could write a sentence that we all can understand, I would truly appropriate, because I would love to know what you're saying. I'm not being trying to insult you, but I really want to know what message you are trying to convey about the cigar. Oh, can I get the link? Okay, she said the link. Oh, yeah, I just shared the link. Okay, that's why I don't understand it. Maybe I should have knew you meant link. Um, I just shared the link. Okay, somebody said the chat breaks it up sometimes. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks for letting me know. Somebody said New Diamond's been going in, especially the show about the months being off. Yeah, I didn't, like I said, that was the first show I seen from her channel. I mean, the first show I seen, and it was powerful. Okay, yeah, I got to check that out. I got to check that out. Shout out to King Simon. He's sharing Erin Lyons' website. You could contact the sister at erinlyonsofficial.com. All right. All right. She said, "Thank you, Rich. I'll be going in on time." That's dope. That's what's up. That's what's up. Somebody said 2,000 years has passed. Ha ha ha. Still, no one understand that Christmas was a 5D event. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. I heard all types of breakdowns of Christmas, so I understand you. I hear you. Somebody said, "Why the whole world think that is a heart symbol?" Okay, man. I don't, you may be talking about something. Radiohead, you are top class on all your shows. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right. Seven is the effing greatest word. Yeah, Seven is an amazing brother. He's one of the best out there with this information, hands down. He's definitely one of the best out there. He's a dope at what he does. Dope at what he does. Shout out to Seven. Can't wait to do the workshop. I have the workshop with him next week. And him and Red Pill and a couple other people that's joining us. All right. All right. So with that being said, I gotta get out of here, family. Appreciate. Somebody said, Rich, how did you feel about what Ross said about eternity? Yo, I ain't forget it to this. Yo, I was thinking about. I'm glad you asked that. I was thinking about it today. Like that eliminates a lot when you really analyze and dissect it. It eliminates a lot from your mind, and just we got an eternity to figure this thing out. Some of us may have it pop in this lifetime, some of us the next lifetime. We got an eternity to figure this thing out, family. Don't stress anything in life. Family, do not stress anything in life. Time is the last thing we have to think or worry about. This is all an illusion, a dream. This is like a shadow simulator. It's a simulation that is shadow based, that has a lag to it, so we don't understand it's a shadow because it doesn't follow us as fast as the shadow from our arm. There's actually a delay, so by the time the delay hits us, we forget that it's a shadow and we get caught in a loop. But listen, we got none but time, family. Oh, we got an eternity. Don't judge anybody. We all got an eternity to do our thing. This is dope. This is dope. That we figured that out. And somebody said, Rich, you should have Ross Ben on the show. Yeah, definitely. I'll get him on again. So, I've had him on plenty of times. I've had Ross Ben on plenty of times throughout the last 15 years. So shout out to Ross Ben. That's my brother, my brethren right there. Shout out to Ross Ben. Yeah, there's a book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Yeah, King, man. King, man. We eternal beings. Don't stress anything in this life. That's not to say don't be your best. It is our duty and our mission. We should feel honor to be the best version of ourselves. But after you be the best version of yourselves, don't stress anything. I'm gonna be who I am. After I be who I am, I ain't gonna stress. The only thing I stress is if I gotta be who I am. That's one thing I gotta do is I gotta be who I am. After I be who I am, I ain't gotta stress none. If they put me on a cross like Christ, I'm good with it. As long as I got to be who I am, that's the ultimate victory. That's the ultimate championship. That's the ultimate belt. That's the ultimate everything. I got to be who I am. There's no greater wealth in the world than being your multidimensional self in this realm. I got to do that. I won. I could do anything after that because I know um, I'm an eternal being and shit just gonna get better. And whatever happened to me after being my authentic self was something I had to learn from. So shout out to everybody being themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's grandma right there. Inez, that's grandma right there. Inez got that grandma with wisdom. That's one of our elders. That's one of the elders who be holding it down in the chat. A lot of people think the chat is just for young people. Inez is one of the elders in the chat. I just sent her this. Inez, did you get your cigar yet? I might have sent it to your daughter's I think you said your daughter's address. Did you get your cigar yet, Inez? Let me know if you got your cigar yet. Because I mailed it out to you last week, about a week and a half ago. Inez is a Virgo. Shout out to Inez. Yeah. You got your cigar yet, Inez? Or is it in transit? Did your daughter get it or whoever? I don't know. But okay. Inez say LOL. Yes, it's at my daughter's house. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I there was two addresses there and I sent it to that one. So yeah. Somebody said without Saw blueprint, how you know what his best version equal? See, this I don't the way y'all write. I wish y'all were right incomplete sentences just so I can understand it better. Me personally, maybe somebody else understands what you're saying. I would love to understand what you mean, but the way you write it, I just can't comprehend it. Yeah. New Diamond said, I still got my cigar from Stone Mountain as souvenir. LOL, I need another one. Yo, I'm about to make a commercial. You know what's damn? You know what's crazy? I want to show people the crystals. Y'all not gonna be able to see it. I'm using a cam. Can you let me see if y'all can see it from here? Nah, I'm looking at the camera now. Hold up, let me see something. Can anybody see? Nah, you can't see it from here. I'm looking to see if you can see the crystals. You can slightly see. Do y'all see the crystals glistening? Can y'all see? It's hard. It's hard. Imagine in person. Look at the crystals. Look, I want you play close attention. Can y'all see the crystals in it? I'm gonna use a little bit. I'm gonna use my camera. Do y'all see the crystals? Can y'all see it? You see the crystals? Yeah, you see the listen, nobody. You show me somebody who has tobacco with crystals. It's hard. It's hard. Somebody say yes. Y'all see it, right? A lot of people see it. Listen, family, it's hard. I open this one. This is like one that's closed. It is hard. It is hard. It's damn near impossible to get a cigar. A cigar that got crystals on it, family. I got that shit. I am the tobacco chief in town. The new one. Family, if you would like a cigar, it's donation based. You could donate $30 or more. I'm building an empire. We'll get you the cigar. And the more you donate, the more you get. But I am the person who has cigars that have crystals in them. And that was on my webcam. I showed you that on my webcam. Imagine in person, this shit look crazy. You like, what the fuck am I smoking? You think you're like, is this crack? Is this crack? What us? Nigga, the cigars got crystals in them. This is product that mainstream media don't have access to. I told you, you got to go to Honduras, then you got to drive 4 hours into a certain town to get them. They don't have access to that. They have access to the shit that's at the airport. I got one that's at the airport. I don't have it in front of me. It's totally different. These are hand rolled. These are totally crystal cigars, bro. Come on. Just saying that to say, if you would like one of these crystal radio cigars, all radio, they call radio cigars. All radios have crystals within them. And that's how you are able to tune into certain frequencies because of the crystal technology that's in them. So it ain't no difference as above, so below, as with this, so without fractals. There's no difference with this. If your radios has crystals in them, so does the tobacco. So does the human body. You can see it in the sun sometime. But if you would like these crystalline cigars, these are crystalline cigars. I just left the link, a donation of 30 or more. I got some beautiful things I'm building with this channel. A donation of 30 or more will get you a crystalline cigar. That's a beautiful thing to say. That is something that the biggest cigar manufacturers in the world can't say that. They just be like, listen to this is what I got. This is my spiritual, one of my spiritual inheritances. We all like, my name is Richard Merritt. I'm worthy of certain things, rewards. One of them is these cigars, and you got to understand your worth. And people may not understand how important it is what you get in life, but I understood the importance of this. That's why I got it. That's why gratitude is so important. I was the one. I knew they knew I would be grateful to come across something like this. Crystalline cigars, nigga. These are. Did I say that? Did I say that? Should I say it again? Crystalline cigars. We live in the most beautiful times ever. Listen, I hope y'all, if y'all didn't see the whole show tonight, rewind, watch the whole show. It was an amazing. I was about to say God. It was an amazing show. I'm gonna go spend time with my family. It's 10:30. I appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. It's been a wonderful week on I was about to say Black Magic 363, but I just remember I'm like, damn, I renamed my channel. It's been a wonderful week on 363 Empire. I renamed the channel because I'm on a completely different frequency, a completely different vibration. I appreciate my last vibration, but I'm just somewhere else with it right now, and I'm thankful and I'm happy and I'm content, and I want all of us to be content. And the only way for us to be content is for us to know thyself, go within that inner space is more important than outer space. I use this. This is one of the things I use. Some people don't use anything. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people use ayahuasca, DMT, whatever you use, you use. Whatever you do, you do. We have everything within inside of us. We have tobacco receptors within inside of us. You just got to know what you appreciate. And I appreciate this, and I have a good time during my ceremony and during my ritual. 363 Empire Strikes Back. There you go. 363 Empire Strikes Back. What a week. 363 Empire Strikes Back. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to share this link one last time. For the cigars, a donation of 30 of over will get you one of these crystalline cigars that you will not find anywhere. It's very hard to find in the world. Very, very, very hard to find in the world. With that being said, I will see everybody on Monday. I got another amazing week lined up for y'all. Oh, next week is just as amazing. I'm coming just as hard, and I'm closing out the year extremely hard. I fell back during the earlier parts of the year because I had my daughter. But I'm ending this year. Oh yeah, we ending it with a bang. We having a good time, and we starting off 2026 with a bang. So with that being said, appreciate everybody. I will see you on Monday. Okay, family. Have a good night. Take this energy with you in the dream realm tonight, family. That dream realm is important. Do not sleep on it. Do not neglect it. It is the point where your subconscious will create certain things for you. Family, appreciate y'all. See you on Monday, all right?